Hello, it's Nikki. How you doing? Today I want to talk about bringing your vision in and finding a way to do this. Now, this is not a quick fix. This is not a life hack. And sometimes it will take many, many years, many, many months, many, many weeks to bring it in. But there is no time like the present. And if you have a big goal or a big dream that you want to connect with, I want to give you some really, really practical things that you can do today. And there are going to be a lot of logistics as well thrown in, but it's something about the energetics that I want to talk about as well. And the work that you can do in the process of getting there. So as you know, as I've shared on here, we are moving house. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast since the beginning, this has been a goal. And I am sure that I was saying this was a goal in 2018. And this has been on my vision board for a long, long time. And I feel that there could have been so many moments along the way that I never thought that this would happen. Because as time goes by, you think, I don't know if it will happen, because the time that's going by is it feels like it's moving further and further away. And one thing that has been very useful, sorry, I keep pausing. It's a very emotional, raw topic for me to talk about. So one of the things that I've been really focusing on and keeping this vision really alive is the power of my senses. And I wanted to share this with you today because it's something that you can do right now. And I'm never very good at waiting. So I always like to be doing things and growing things. So for example, if I was going to create a beautiful garden and I'd only planted one thing, there isn't actually much point me sitting and just going, will it grow? Will it grow? Is it going to come? Am I going to see a shoot today? I'm much better doing other things alongside it. And I feel like I'd get to the goal much quicker. So one of the things that I started to do was to start before we were ready. And what I mean by this is really spending a lot of time in the vision of what it is that you want and exploring. So for example, I became an absolute Rightmove nerd for maybe a year, probably a year really consistently. But I'd always looked over the years. I'd always been in estate agent windows. I'd always had a fairly good grasp of the market and the areas and what was happening. But about a year ago, or now 18 months ago, I really got serious. And what shifted for me was getting serious about it actually being a reality. So I signed up for all of the Rightmove alerts and every single one that came through. And I looked at lots of different areas, lots of different specifications, and I kept my search really, really wide. And this is not necessarily about houses. This is about you moving closer to whatever it is that you want. But I really took my time. And I would say probably for the last year, I spent anywhere from 10 minutes per day to an hour per day on Rightmove. And I would look in detail I would look at where they were on the map. I would think about the floor plan. I would look at the video tour. And sometimes, and you will know this if you're into Rightmove, sometimes you just get a video tour where they basically show you around the rooms. Or sometimes there's this, I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's like a virtual reality thing where you can step forward and you can kind of scan around the room yourself. So you're kind of in control of it. And I spent loads and loads of time doing that. So essentially walking around loads of people's houses that were on the internet. I wasn't doing this in real life. But what I did was I started to ask questions. What would I do? Where would I put the bed? Would our sofa fit there? How would I feel about the bathroom being in that position in the house, etc.? So I asked myself those questions. And so whatever it is that you want, whether you're thinking about a big travel adventure that you want to work towards, maybe it's a certain part of your business, maybe you want to start a charity or whatever it might be, I want you to be in that headspace of exploring. And you know, there was something about those video tours, the ones where you would do the virtual reality and you would walk around. I felt every time I walked through people's houses, I was bringing together information of what would work and what was important to me and what wasn't. And when you start to know and gather that information really, really actively, and I was allowing myself to feel it in my body, feel it. How does that feel? What's important to me? What is going to really spark my interest? Where am I getting an emotional connection? And what is that? And really going under the layers deeper. That was really, really crucial. So if you're at a point, for example, in terms of your business or your brand, and you're thinking, okay, I don't really know where to go next, or I kind of want this thing, but I'm not sure how to do it. Pay attention to the signs that you are receiving and what your patterns, your behaviors and things are telling you right now. So for example, if you go on social media, who are you looking to hear from? What posts do you miss? What do you connect with? What makes you laugh? Where are you gravitating towards? And equally, on the flip side, what are you not? Really listen to all of that information that is coming through for yourself. You can then go into the other things such as the smell, the touch, and the taste. Now, with mine, kind of the house goal doesn't necessarily work as well. But certainly, I knew that I had a real specification, I guess, in terms of the environment I wanted for our bedroom. Sorry if this is a bit TMI, but, we've had 2 children in the last 6 years. 2 children who haven't slept very well, 2 children who we've played musical beds with for 6 years. And I would really, and with that musical chairs brings all kinds of stuff. Like I feel like my bedside table is just full of junk the whole time. We've been moving furniture around. We've always had like a cot attached or all sorts of things. And one of the things I just wanted and I felt like I was connecting to was that sense of space in our new bedroom. I want it to feel like some kind of, not hotel suite necessarily, because I want it to feel a bit more personal than that. But I want it to be a really beautiful, calming, relaxing, gorgeous, gorgeous space. And so when I was looking and going around people's houses and I was looking at the bedrooms and what they were offering, there were some things that automatically I just ruled out because I was like, I don't want to sleep in there. And yes, it might be on a good road or a good road. What I'm saying when I say good road, I mean like where we want to be location wise. I'm not being all a hyacinth bouquet of like, it must be a premier street. No, I'm not talking it that way. But something that's good and workable for us. But because I was really listening to my senses in that way, I was able to, again, gather more information about what would work and what wouldn't. The third thing I want you to think about, which is all about your daily life. And I guess point 4 and point 3 run alongside each other. So point 4 is about how do you want to feel in this next chapter? Whatever this goal is, how do you want it to feel? How are you going to show up? And so when I was thinking about my day-to-day routine, I really connected with how I want to be, how I want the blend of my weekdays and my weekends to work. So therefore, what information does that give me about location? What information does that give me about the space, etc.? And how do I want to feel in that space? And so this exercise, these 4 points, which I'll just run along them again. So number 1 is about exploring and vision and being in that space. The second one is about using those senses of smell, of touch, of taste. The third one and the fourth one combined is about that daily way that your life runs and feels and moves. And finally, how you want to feel in that. Because I know what can happen, and I know it sometimes when I receive or I'm invited to be part of somebody else's goal. And here's what I mean. Sometimes people might sit down and go, right, it's a numbers game. I'm just going to email 50 people. Or I'm going to see if I can get 10 new clients today. So I'm going to land in 200 people's DMs. And they are so focused on those numbers, on those logistics, on those spreadsheet entries, on getting that money into the bank account, on those very, very practical things. And when I receive that, I don't get a sense of any of those things, of the vision, of it being personal, of connecting with senses. And also, I know when I work with somebody personally, when I invest in my own development or I work with people on projects or whatever it might be, those things that I mentioned about the shared vision, about connection, about engagement, those things are really, really important to me. So if I ever sense that somebody's goal is just from that logistical place with no heart and soul, as a receiver, I go, ooh, no, that doesn't feel right for me. And certainly with this house, there were other people interested. I'm not going to go into all the logistics, but we managed by hook or by crook to be able to get to a point where we were the people who are now going to live in it. And I do believe that it was down to the end point of a golden paragraph, of that connection, of being able to tell our story, of being in that conversation. And so what I would love you to take away from today is to consider how you are moving forward with your goal right now. What's been working, what you're focusing on. Secondly, I want you to ask yourself, are you willing to play? Are you willing to see if there's another way around this? Are you willing to invite some other magic into this process of looking and using your senses? Also, are you willing to be patient? Are you willing to enjoy the process? Are you willing to play the game slowly but surely and do what it takes? Now, when I say do what it takes, it doesn't mean like, oh my God, giving everything, like that kind of energy. I mean, are you willing to be methodical, to be thorough, to really lean into what it is that you want? Finally, it's not necessarily going to be easy. I must say that. And I know that that is not necessarily the most positive thing, or it's maybe not what you want to hear. But let's be realistic. There are often twists and turns. But I tell you what, the way that you reframe things, it's going to really help you. The way that you pay attention to what it is that you need in order to support this process, it's going to help you along the way. So for example, this week is the last week before we move. And there's lots of other things going on behind the scenes as well. Aside from the move, unless that, as if that wasn't big enough, moving house is a stressful thing. I know as I woke up on Monday morning, I have to greet this week with a smile, with a sense of, woo, this is busy, but it's all good. Or that sense of, let's roll with it. Rather than that energy of going, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. Because I know it will all be worth it. I know it will be great at the other side. I know that we will get there. I know that things will work themselves out. Because I'm choosing to work with that. And that's not to say some of those things aren't going to be hard. And I'm not talking about moving here. I'm talking about other stuff behind the scenes. Because life is tricky sometimes. But if you can reframe it, if you can open the possibilities of enjoying the process and learning as you go. And certainly as well, Matt and I were discussing the other day that we have made some mistakes along the way. We have done some things that in hindsight, you go, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done that thing at that point. Or maybe we shouldn't have spent money there. Or perhaps we should have got on with that thing sooner. Or whatever it might be. You're going to make mistakes. You're a human being and you're learning. And unless you've done something before, you're not going to know how to do it perfectly. This is a learning process. So I would love to hear what came up for you today. And what you're going to take away and which of those areas you want to play in. It's a really fun exercise. I know there's going to be some other things this year that I'm really going to be working on and laying the foundations for and sowing the seeds for, but I might not see what they become until 2024 or 2025. But that's okay as well. Thank you so much for listening, as always. And thank you so much for your good wishes and your love and your support and your messages. Thank you for listening and for being here up until this point. If you want to choose something from my freebie shop, please do so. You can access them, nikkiraby.com/freebies. Equally, there's the Pick and Mix shop, nikkiraby.com/shop. Or I am taking one-to-one clients in April. So if you want to book a call with me, please do so. You can just email me and we'll find a time to speak. It will be next week now, probably not this week, but let's just see. You can email me hello@nikkiraby.com. And if you do leave a 5-star review, please let me know. I would love to send you something and as a little thank you. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much. And I'm sending you lots of love from here.